What we doing about getting old, D-Lo?
We're gonna go back to that.
Yeah, let's go right into it.
All right. So I mean, to me, it's just funny how we shun, and when I say we, I mean social media. Again, we talked about the metaverse earlier. Right now, our reality is social media, so to speak. So it's just funny to me how we shun getting old, right? And how a lot of us aspire to do great things, but when it comes to being old, there's like a negative connotation to it. So my question to you, Sticks, is, or just in general, is why is that? Why do you think we shun being old or looking at old as not a bad thing, but not something that we? Yeah, it's hard. It's just we shun it. Why is that?
Man, we all know, man. Father Time is undefeated. Unless you LeBron James or somebody who's still playing like he's 22. But then we find a way to do that every time, I swear to God. But Father Time is undefeated. So there's, as the old adage says, there's only two things that's guaranteed in this world. That's death and taxes. So you're not going to ever get away from it. So why not just accept it? But just like you talked about in the intro, social media gives us a heightened sense of ego and what your persona should be and how you're supposed to look and how you're supposed to act and what you're supposed to show is what you want people to perceive as real life. So you have a lot of people going through a lot of different procedures and processes to keep themselves looking a certain way. And people are doing, you sent me the post about people doing things to their face, and I was like, what is going on? And that's where the conversation came from. It's like, yo, why are we shunning this? Like, why do we feel like we can just avoid every year passing and us eventually going to the maker? Like, why are we trying to quote unquote slow this process up? Which I understand because nobody wants to pass. Nobody wants to pass away. I get that, but at the same time, there's nothing that gains value with age and use. So if you're getting older, you're going to eventually wear down, and a lot of that comes in our physical features, and we can tell.
Oh, my fault. I don't mean to cut you off, but I do mean to cut you off. I mean that.
Go ahead. What you got?
So you said there's nothing that gains
value with age and use.
I beg to differ with that.
Well, what is it then?
With age and use?
Age and use. The older it gets, the more you use it.
Us, when we're working, in the working world, the older you get, usually you gain more experience, and the job is using you as a resource, you typically gain more value.
I'm not talking about getting wise and things like that. And I'm talking about we wear down the older we get, regardless of how much we work.
Right.
So we can't.
It's a peak to it, right? So as you start out, let's just say your Sticks, age 26, 27, however old it was when you had to actually step into the corporate world and not be in the NFL anymore. When you step into the corporate world as a first time worker, right? You probably more than likely were somewhere just at the bottom in the average of what everybody make at that company. As you got more experience, as the company used you as a resource for that company, as you got older, you started to move up. You started to get promotions. You started to get your salaries bumped with cost of living, and maybe with the promotion, you got more money as well. Right? And then so at a point in time, yes, when you no longer can work anymore, which we make ourselves retire most times because we want to have more of our time. We're getting off on the tangent here. But
no, you're good. Yeah.
So,
I see your point though. Yeah. I see your point. I see your point. But
everything else, yes, you are right. You drive a car off the lot. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it depreciates. iPhones, they depreciate. All that.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, the products is what I meant. What was what I said to say? What product? Ain't no product. But
right.
At this in that sense, it's more so like, okay, we're trying to keep ourselves looking a certain way when eventually as people, the older we get, the older we're going to look. But people are trying to give off this persona of I want to even though I'm 62, I still want to look 26. They want to flip it. They want to keep flipping the age. And to me, it just makes no sense. Like, why can't we accept the fact that we all get older? Why can't we accept the fact that we all grow up? Why can't we accept the fact that we all eventually at some point going to see the king? Like, I don't understand it either, man. It's just like people, I think it's a lot of insecurity. I think it's a lot of social shaping to the fact of, you have
social shaping. I like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of social shaping to the point of you have like the all these beauty standards out here for a lot there's a bunch for women, but there are some for men too who want to keep up this look of what is attractive and what the women want or what the men want, and it's to me it's just weird. What's your thought process on it, G?
So you are 100% correct. It is the social media that is adding this level of vanity to us.
Yes, bro. That's a good word to use, too.
Whereas it was not before. So, because everybody has a camera on them, usually everybody that has a mobile device has a camera on them at all times. At a moment's notice, you could be in a picture and you have to be photo shoot ready to take a picture. Where in the early 90s, or late 90s or 90s and 80s and early, real early 2000s, that was not a thing. And then now we've ushered in, everybody has a camera. You can be on the internet at a moment's notice. We've added a level of vanity. And I get that. You always want to look your best. But if you want to look your best, like put in the work. Everything is a process. It's a process to get the results that you want. It don't snap your fingers and it comes like that. So to answer your question, the rebuttal, that you are correct. Social media has added a level and an element of vanity that just has taken us to this. Okay, do I want to be old? No, I don't know if I really want to be old. Whatever. To me, though, I really had to think about this question because I'm like, man, like really, why do we shun getting old? Why is all of this stuff now coming about? And to me, the two things that stuck out was time and loss. All right, and you talked about that as well. So time, when you think of a young person, they're perceived as having unlimited time. Like they it's going to be a while. Lord God forbid something tragic happen. It's going to be a while before they have to even really think about death entering their mind, right? When you think about somebody older, it's about they've seen their best years in the past, or they're over the hill, right? And then loss, we fear losing our loved ones because that becomes a theme as you get older. The closer you get to your time of loss or your time to leave this earth, the more you lose things. And that's both physical and characteristics of yourself. You lose your loved ones. So you've experienced loss early in your life, with your family. I've now starting to experience loss on a consistent basis. That's hard. That's terrifying because they're things that these individuals, I'm talking about our families, have taught you. You now lose them physically, but those memories are also something that you have to hold on with and look at them, think about them in that light and wondering what would happen, if you went through a situation, you can actually go to them to talk to them. That's no longer there.
Yeah.
You also lose your looks. You lose your hair. You lose your body. Gravity starts to take control of your body. Sometimes you may even lose your mind. So death, time and loss are two things to me that's like, other than social media, is we fear death. When realistically we fear death. So those two things to me is the reason why we shun getting old, because we have to now think about when past 35 or past whenever that time frame is, to when death becomes a real thought process for you. We have to now put our thought into that whereas when you're young, you don't really think about that. It's
You
not
really
something
don't.
that you put too much thought into. And then another thing is the younger generations shun, so to speak, older generations because they're trying to make a space for themselves. And the only
True.
way that they can do that is they have to kind of usher out the older generation, because the longer we clog up everywhere they want to be, the more they have to create their new ways, in which a lot of them have with
Hmm.
social media. But the industries in which are looked at with respect, our generations and generations just above us are clogging those industries up right now, because we still have to make a living for ourselves and our
Hmm.
responsibilities as well.
Exactly, man. And I mean, it's one thing like whenever people ask me what I'm afraid of, the number one thing I tell them is I'm afraid of being a bad dad. I don't even tell them I'm
Mm.
afraid of death because I know it's inevitable. Like I know it's going to
Right.
happen. I know whenever that time comes, it's going to be like a gut wrenching feeling like, damn, this is, you know what I'm saying? Like I know it's going to bring some kind of fear to my heart. But as of right now, we are at that halfway point when we start to think like, well, damn, we right there, like we midlife,
Right
low
there.
key, like we ain't having no crises, but we right there at midlife. So it's like,
Yeah.
should we start? Is that something we should start thinking about? But when it comes to fears, I fear letting my daughter down. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of anything else but being a bad dad. But at some point in life, maybe 15, 20 years down the road, I might be like, oh, damn, I'm about to be that time. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not necessarily afraid of it because I know it's coming. But there's people like we having this conversation right now that's like they really trying to turn back the clocks. And it's like,
Hmm.
there's no Father Time don't let you do that. You can't take that
No.
time back. Only way you can take that time back is just like D-Lo was saying, is that when we get to a point of retirement and we want to have more time or regain some more time in our life to be with family and friends and just enjoy ourselves, that's when we can do that. But up until now, like, bro, we gotta be able to work to get there. And there's nothing that you can do, not even by grafting your face or BBLs or, waist censure or boob jobs or, removing bones and doing all kind of stuff that people are doing to make themselves
Yep.
have the appearance of looking younger. That doesn't change the fact that you're still 50. Like you
Yep.
might try to look 25, but you're still 50. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, I don't
That's crazy that
understand
you
it.
said that
What?
about the getting the surgeries, and then you said 50 specifically,
Mm-hmm.
because the American Society of Plastic Surgeons reported that in 2019, surgeries increased pre-COVID by 19%. But in 2022, which was 2 years ago now,
Mm-hmm.
the top demographics to receive procedures age-wise, the top was Generation X, which is 40 to 54. They
Mm.
took up 45% of procedures. The
Sheesh.
next one, the next one was baby boomers, who was
Okay.
55 to 69.
Mm.
They took up 30% of procedures, and
So
then
that's
came the
75% right
millennials.
there. That's crazy.
Yep. Which the
That's
next
crazy.
next came the millennials. So what it proved, I mean, obviously the younger you are, not you probably typically don't, your parents probably won't allow you to get the plastic surgeries and stuff
True.
like that. So the
Yeah.
older you are, the more autonomy that you have to make your own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that lines up is funny to me because, you know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, these type of surgeries weren't widespread. So the baby boomers weren't really getting involved with it.
Mm-hmm.
And but now it is. And so Generation X, the 40 to 50, they're like, man, let me
Let me
let
go
me
ahead
go get
and,
some
what I'm
let me
saying?
go
Type
get some
shit.
cool sculpting type stuff like that. And then the baby
Exactly.
boomers are finally coming in. And then we're getting past the age where we don't look how we used to look. It's like, all right, let me go ahead and
But do
do
you
this
see
and do
yourself
that.
doing something like that though, D-Lo? I don't
Nah,
personally.
I don't. I'll never say never, because the more this hairline start to leave, it might
I
might
got a
take me a
little
trip to
something going
Israel or
on too.
whatnot.
I
You
ain't
know what I
gonna
mean?
hold you. I don't
But I
need
mean,
that.
I mean, nah, man. I understand that we get old. Some people age gracefully. Some people don't.
True.
Some people also could age gracefully if they choose different lifestyles, or if they
True.
ate better, if they worked out or whatnot. So it, like I said earlier, it's a process. Everything's a process. You're not gonna get anything with a snap of a finger. So if you want something, I guess you do go through a
Hmm.
process if you get those procedures. But I mean, if you want something naturally,
Nah, that ain't a
then
process, cuz.
you gotta go through the heat. You know what I'm saying? And work to become what you want to become. Now, it might not help your face, but if you feel like your face is a little bit fatter and fuller, you could lose a little bit of weight, and then your face would slim up a little bit.
See, that's the thing, though,
what I mean?
D-Lo. We're in the age now where instant gratification rules everything, bro.
I know.
Nobody wants to work for that gratification. Credit card, and you can use that as a metaphor for everything. Instant gratification in life is what is ruling right now. Like, everything has to be quick, everything has to be right now. And if I'm not getting the results I want right now, I got to figure out a way to get it right now. So, like, yeah, man, instant gratification is what it is, man, and it's insane, bro. It's insane to me. It is.
I just thought that was funny, man, because like I said, I sent you that post where these people getting all this stuff done to their face. They were like, I really don't even know how old they were, but their faces were older looking. And then they get this surgery with the skin tightening. And I mean, they did look young, but they look weird as I don't know what.
Look weird as I don't know what, D-Lo. Like, it was crazy looking to me. I ain't gonna lie to you, G.
Yeah. It's like, man, listen, you're gonna be old. You can look 20, but if your life here on earth is 60, when 73 or 79 for a woman hits, it's typically when the average age of death for women, when that hit, you can look like you 36, but your body gonna be 79, and you're gonna be, you know what I mean? You're gonna be with Jesus.
You're gonna be with the Maker. Take me to the King.
Head ass. Jesus.
That's a fact.
How you gonna say take me to the King and then say, man?
Oh, I'm sorry. Talking about this. Oh, y'all still here. So that must mean you love the content. And if that is the case, there's a video on the screen right here. Go ahead and click that, view that. We think you're going to love that one as well. And we still have our 600 subscriber goal. So there's a button on the screen right here. Go ahead and click that to subscribe to the channel. And we're on all your streaming platforms, wherever you find your podcasts.